Hello, everybody. I'm going to keep this one relatively short. There are three quick things on the docket today at the Freelance Teacher and the blog education-ny.blogspot.com. As usual, the freelanceteacher.teachable.com. But one of the things is I saw this. I didn't think it was necessarily anything of note when I first saw it, but with the novel coronavirus, you have people online, and it's spreading, of course, and it's going to be, if it gets big enough, it'll be maligned and slandered, of course, as a right-wing conspiracy and all the usual stuff they say. But they said you can put in, it's wizardry in terms of casting a spell. You can put in any three-digit, well, actually, I put in two. You can put any number in front of new cases, and you will find what I found, recent hit on Google. Every single number. I screenshotted 6, but I did probably 20 numbers ranging from 12, which came up with a hit from within the last 7 days, to 987. I was born on April 20th, so I put 420. Sure enough, boom, results, plural results for 987. 12. I randomly typed in, I think, 568. Sure enough, boom. Like any three-digit number, new cases, and it comes up with a story. Every single number. I guess someone, I don't know, crowdsource 0 to 999 and keep going. That's wizardry. That's an information war. That's an onslaught of what we in the old days conspiracy community used to call a psyop, where no matter what you put in your face, you get Corona-chan. And it works. It works. There are people, it's now June 23rd, and there are people running around with masks on. My daughter and I were walking down the street, and I live in the Bronx, and there are plenty of people without masks, but we're in New York City, so, it's the government knows everything, they control everything, and neither of us had a mask on. We were outside walking alone, walking as just the two of us. We live in the same house, so walking down the street together, we live in the same apartment. Walking down the street together with no mask is not an issue. Well, do I need to explain it to you? And some lady, I think her name was Karen, she walked by us. She kind of readjusted her mask, and as she walked by, she said, "Nice." Right? Like we were committing murder or something like that. Silly woman. Like if your mask doesn't work, why are you wearing it? If your mask works, why are you afraid? Why are you upset? Right? And she's, of course, is the same lady who would rather jam sewing needles into her eyeballs than go down to Fordham Road where the riots were and wag her finger and say, "Stop rioting. You guys aren't social distancing. You, sir, are not wearing a mask," as you break that window and steal the jewelry from the privately owned store on Fordham Road owned by a Dominican couple. Right? But of course by us. Nice. Right? So that actually happened. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, I can't remember what the third one was, but this other one was actually the main topic, where I'm on City Island. I'm in that area, Pelham Bay Park, the largest park in New York City. And there's a bridge from Pelham Bay Park that you take and you go into City Island. And of course, it's, two lanes and a fence and a walkway on both sides. A nice walk, pleasant walk over the water. And there are cardboard signs, or, because everyone is trying to virtue signal hashtag Black Lives Matter, hashtag BLM. All lives matter. All lives can't matter until Black Lives Matter was one, which is a weird bit of a phraseology that is kind of strange. Like, of course, Eskimo lives can't matter until all lives matter. If all lives matter, which they do, then that's just like a childish bit of third. I don't even think it's third grade. Like, of course, if you're leaving one group out, yeah, I mean, yeah, no. If you're going to say all, it means all, which is all lives matter. And I guess people will say, Black lives need to matter, which, of course, they do. I mean, do you know anyone who walks around and thinks privately or says publicly Black lives don't matter? I don't. I know, and I live in New York City. 8 million of us here, and I'm in Westchester County a lot. And all of these things are going on, and I'm still looking for the person who says, and because people will say things online anonymously. I guess there are people out there that go travel around anonymously and say that those people don't matter or their lives don't matter, but I don't see them, and I travel in some vile circles on the internet. And even there, I don't see it. So there's a lot of this sloganeering fakery, and people will just repeat and do as they're told. I mean, we see they'll just do as they're told with the mask thing. If you're under 65 and you're wearing a mask, you're just not paying attention. Now, I wear a mask. I'm not going to get yelled at the bank or try to get a restaurant shut down or get kicked off of an airline flight like someone did the other day. I flew down south not too long ago, and they needed a mask on American Airlines. I wore a mask. You navigate the way you have to navigate. What hill are you going to die on? Oh, I refuse to wear a mask, so I can't go see family? Come on. But just walking around, it's almost like a test. The thought controllers are testing us, and there are many, many failures going on. So anyway, with this signage on the bridge, the other sign was, so people just, again, repeat, all lives can't matter until Black lives matter. All right, well then get the people together who say Black lives don't matter and try to teach them. I think it's too late. How are you going to teach someone who thinks that? You're going to teach them what? You're going to shame them? You're going to call them a racist? If someone is despicable enough to think that a black life doesn't matter, how are you going to teach that person that it does? You're going to call them names? Because the only thing I see out there are people calling names and shaming tactics. Which brings me to the next sign that I saw on the bridge. White silence is violence. Now, why is it white silence? What about Puerto Rican silence? Or Hispanic silence? Or maybe black silence? I know a lot of black people. I work at Mount Vernon High School. I don't have any white students, and the majority of the staff is not white. So some of those people, they're not. I've checked their Instagram accounts. They don't have a black square. They're not saying anything about Black Lives Matter. They are silent. Does their silence matter? And some of them are white, Asian, Hispanic, mostly white and black people. But white silence is violence. Now, I want you to think about that, how asinine that is. If you're a white person and you're silent, that is violence. You're taking two words that are completely unrelated and saying one is the other. And you're pinning it down by race, which, of course, is something that no one can do anything about. I identify as a black woman today, but no one is believing it when they see me. Right? Got the dress, everything. I'm a black woman today. No one's buying that. I can't change the way I am, but my race, if you want to go down those roads, which you don't. So, you see stuff like that, and people just repeat it. They just say, yeah, white silence is violence. Yeah, I mean, of course, no thought with it. How do you put that up? White silence is violence? Against whom? How is silence violence? And then do you have to say something? What if you don't? How are you going to make somebody say something? And is that going to move the needle and cause progress? So you're going to shame and berate white people who just want to live their lives. Remember, it's white silence, of course. You're right. I mean, again, do I need to explain the asinine nature of that to you? So you're going to force the people to say something? Does force work? I thought force was not the way to go about things. Or shame people, offend them. You have to say something. Well, as usual, the effect of this will be the thing to watch. The next few elections, the way people decide to arm themselves, especially with the defund the police stuff. It'll be the reaction that you're going to need to watch. And especially I'll leave you with this, especially, and I don't know if that was the third thing. I know I have 3, and I should write these down. I apologize. I need to plan better. But the reaction you're going to see, people in liberal areas. I live in New York City in the Bronx, and a lot of people assume that every white person they see is one of these soy, soft, white liberal types who will kowtow and bend the knee. I was talking to a hardware store owner the other day, and she said she'll kneel to God, but she's not going to kneel to a person, anyone, white, black, or otherwise, by force. It's not going to happen. People have pride. So it seems pretty obvious to me that, this divide and conquer stuff is going very well for the top elite. But, Vox Day mentioned this in his dark stream, that it's pretty obvious as well that the globalists are completely losing control, because this kind of chaos doesn't help globalism. It doesn't move their cause forward, which is no nations, no countries, especially not a strong country like the United States. Nationalism and religion are their enemies. And so this is kind of like the globalist cabal lashing out, which it is. I think he's right, which is good. Globalism is a terrible evil. So, but the reaction, people are people, and they don't like being berated and yelled at and shamed and told that if they're silent, that is violence. So, the reaction, of course, will be rough. The evil, repellent people in corporate media will naturally call it, white supremacy and violent white folks and neo-Confederates and all the stuff that they always say when white people act up. And they single those people out because, luckily I'm not white, remember? I told you earlier. And so, now that's what they're going to say when you have a backlash in West Virginia and northern New Hampshire and rural Virginia and much of Florida and huge swaths of countryside Texas. And the difference this time will be they won't care. No one cares what the New York Times says. You think some gun-owning libertarian conservative in the countryside of West Virginia cares what the New York Times says about him or her? I don't care. You think the fact that they call them white supremacists or racist, that matters to them? They don't care. It means nothing to them. But they will act with pride and dignity and intelligence, which they've got. So keep your eyes on the reaction, really is the message. These are things I'm seeing in June of 2020. All the psyops, they're really pushing stuff so fast and so hard you can't keep up. I don't even read financial news or listen to podcasts in certain genres before coronavirus because they're irrelevant. Because this is the new atmosphere we're in, and the old rules don't necessarily apply. So you keep your ear to the ground, you stay focused and stay smart. I hope to see you guys in person in the fall, and we get back to doing our thing in room 227. Take care.